Now or never for Manchester United in terms of hitting top targets and getting the players that they want. Moves have to be made this January. Reports coming out over the last few hours after this morning's show about Manchester United's targets. Pretty much all on Mendes. Nuno Mendes being the big one in this as well. We're going to get into details on this and how Garnacho fits into it. There has been news about Rashford. Didn't want to make it the main headline. We've got an update on Casemiro as well. Other Manchester United targets. A whole scenario of the left wing-back situation to get involved in. I've gone through everything. I've gone into detail. I've looked at the little stories. Done some digging in around other clubs and what they're doing around certain Manchester United targets, which could influence what's actually happening right now. Want to start with Mendes first of all. This is FUTV United TV, your midday update show, just keeping you up to date with everything that's going on in between the carnage of the morning and the evening shows. There is too much to dissect in just two shows at the moment, obviously because it is January transfer window time, so we're just going to split it up and do our quick fire, usually between 20 and 30 minutes on the live shows. I'm directly on to live on Football Talks after this as well, so join me there. The conversation continues with madness going on the manager front in the Premier League as well later. But Mendes, let's get into that. That's the main story first of all, and that's where we need to start with everything going on right now. Do you know what? This is really important for Manchester United and something that I think needs to be brought up in terms of actually what's happening right now. So first of all, I was going to bring up the story that came out of Santiora, who dropped this one. Well-renowned journalist, quite popular and reliable as well, talking, and this is factual, I think this is realist, so I'll just read it out for you first of all. So Nuno Mendes is very interested in joining Ruben Amorim, as we know, joining Ruben Amorim at Manchester United. PSG are not overly worried though. They see this as the usual game of contract negotiations. New talks will take place soon between PSG and Mendes representatives. This was just after Miguel Delaney obviously dropped his story as well. I'm sure you've seen this. Miguel Delaney from The Independent. Manchester United need a sale in order to meet PSG's 50 million valuation of Nuno Mendes and the player's salary. Alejandro Garnacho has come up in talks between United and PSG. Now this is where Garnacho comes in. So the situation with Mendes is Manchester United may lose out on Mendes if they can't make a deal happen this January, because the window will shut and then PSG will just go into full-on communication mode again and get a deal probably laid out. They're confident, which is why there's a high valuation of 50 million on him, which is why they're going back to the table and why comments like this have come out through the media over in France about this just being a non-starter and not really a big issue. We understand that. I think I get that. I get the grips of that. We know that Mendes wants to come. We know that contract talks have broken down before, and he definitely wants to leave. So, what happens now? PSG, this could be a cover-up. This could be a cover-up. PSG could actually look at this and just say, look, this is really just at the end of days, and we're just trying to add value to a player here in January. They could be playing the transfer game here with Manchester United maybe having to up their bid out of scare tactics and what's happening right now. I can see them feeling confident. I can see them actually feeling, no, he's still got another year to go after this season, so no real drama for us. We'll just see what we can get. Worst case scenario, we'll probably just take a cut down price in the next January transfer window, or maybe even in the summer. So I think they're bluffing right now, PSG, personally. I think with the talks that have gone on and the breakdown, if a player said no once and clearly isn't in favour with Luis Enrique, then the player is ultimately going to move on. Like, I don't understand the situation with PSG and some of their players, what they bring in, and they just completely fall away. Well, that's for them to deal with. The United situation on this, though, is probably more important. We haven't got the money. He's one player that Ruben Amorim wants, but the problem we've got is if United don't act now or never comes into it, because they need to sell players to bring Mendes in. We're going to talk about Casemiro again in a minute, but Garnacho is 100% profit. And you know what? There has been some talk around Garnacho. Miguel Delaney has said this about him going the other way to PSG and maybe a player that they would take there. Look, Garnacho has grown frustrated with his time on the pitch, and their reports, they're out there. We know about that. That's all just old stories. He came on against Liverpool at Anfield and did a job for us the other day, so that's all good. But what Manchester United have got is, it's like the Mendes one, whether you look at it as a PSG and Manchester United standoff, or even if United don't make the signing this January, he then comes into the reckoning for every other big club in the summer as well. And PSG know this. There is interest in him now, but if they can hold off and this deal not happen in January, then PSG starts to hold a few more cards, because they can either get a new contract negotiated in between the transfer windows with him, as they've said there, they are looking to go back and talk again with Mendes, so they're going to go back again and try and convince him, so he's going to be given the world. Then if you look at the contract situation with Mendes, he will have been offered a bigger contract. Manchester United are not going to offer that much money. We can clearly see that with Ineos right now. So Champions League and a bigger contract, and being comfortable in his surroundings already and not having to go into a new challenge. Yes, of course, he's worked with Ruben Amorim before, and that's the lure and that's the hope that we've got right now. But PSG, I think, are just going to play the game here with this one, and United may come out on the other end of it. They need to sell players, and this is the now need for moving players on. We said it this morning. When it comes down to anybody coming in, it's completely irrelevant right now unless United move players on, which is why there is such a conservative effort to get players out, like Rashford. That's why we're hearing about Casemiro. That's why we're hearing about every other player coming back from loan at Manchester United to be moved on to other different clubs on loan to maybe grab more value for the United are doing every single thing that they can in the transfer window to move things around and actually get the right deals in place to earn the right amount of money to maybe buy the players that they want. And that's the situation with Mendes right now. He's going nowhere in January unless United show money, which we haven't got right now. So I feel like the need for speed is what we said this morning, and I think is really true in these stories that are coming out with Mendes right now. At the moment, yes, the player may say he wants to come, but who's to say that someone else bigger doesn't come in if United don't get the deal done this January, which is still a possibility. And then he has to say, look, we just can't get this done. We cannot get this done. We have to wait it out, and then the window opens in the summer. United might not have Champions League football to offer, therefore not able to offer the bigger wages. Them deals then would have been offered to Mendes, and this may have just gone under the bridge, and Manchester United would have missed their opportunity. And this is why Garnacho has been talked about again. Even with Alex Crook on TalkSport this morning, I was actually listening to the radio when he was actually talking about it, and a few accounts have brought this up as well, saying that again, Atleti have been in contact with Manchester United over a possible move for Garnacho, and rumours are circulating again that they will come back in for Garnacho, his original club, his first club in Europe. So all of that put into one, again, it just shows you where we're actually at right now, and it just reinforces what we were talking about this morning in terms of where everything is. Garnacho or one other big Manchester United player, and this is the only reason why all of the media and all of the other journalists have gone in on the Mainu story and the Garnacho one. They're trying to put both players together because Manchester United, and everybody in the world in fact knows that if United sell academy players like Rashford, like Garnacho, like Mainu, it's 100% profit, and they can push the PSR story and financial fair play story. That's why everyone's jumping on this. Really, the Mainu situation is a non-starter, like we said last night. Maybe even Garnacho, but needs must right now. And with Garnacho already having a fallout with Ruben Amorim, you can understand and you can see why this conversation has come about again, and why there are journalists putting out these stories in there. 50 million for Mendes is an alright deal, I feel, but it's 50 million United haven't got. Would you sell Garnacho to get Mendes in? I think that's the question that I want to pose to the chat right now, and see what you think about that. But whichever way you look at it, Manchester United are backed into a little bit of a corner here in a needs-must situation, and it is a tough one to get themselves out of, I think. And really, when you look at it, you go, okay, Mendes, and we talked the other day about the back-off plans and what's actually happening with our other targets. There is another story that's come out as well, which I wanted to back this one up with. I'm just going to bring it up right now in terms of where we're looking at other options. And the Kirkes one, that was what I was talking about. The Kirkes is valued at around about 40 million from Bournemouth. Stumbling block for Manchester United again. Like 22-year-old, same age as Mendes, same type of player. Both brilliant players. You could say that you could say Kirkes has got Premier League proven experience, and that's probably a little bit on the plus side for United and probably more of a positive than what Mendes is. But Mendes has worked with Ruben Amorim before. He knows the system. There's all sorts of differences in arguing who's better and who's worse and what's the better deal for Manchester United. But either one of them players, we still don't have enough money to buy them. And we know that Kirkes will go. We know that Mendes will go elsewhere. Both of these players don't have long on their contracts at the moment. And if United wanted to buy, and this is where United are trying their hardest, because other clubs probably wouldn't be looking to spend in January at a risk of financial fair play and PSR. But United hold the cards with certain academy players that could actually give them bigger profits, and United's turnover profits and everything. They have a little bit more room than other clubs. It's like Newcastle, for instance, right now, having to sell Dubravka, having to sell players to actually meet their PSR needs. They're trying to move forward like the richest ownership model in the world for any football club, and they can't spend a penny right now. This is how tight it is. But because of United's revenues, they've always got that little bit more room. And if United move two big players in particular on that wage bill and get a fee as well, then you could see United making moves in January ahead of anybody else who would normally make these same moves in the summer. So United's effort is also beat the summer transfer market. And there's only one player that they're going to spend money on right now, and that's Mendes. If not Mendes, maybe another fullback as well. But that really is the situation as it is. And when you look at it, it doesn't give you much confidence, I don't think. It doesn't give you much confidence at all, in my opinion. So, yeah, it's a full-on... I won't say shitstorm, but we already knew the situation with Garnacho. We know the situation with what we want with Mendes, Casemiro leaving. In fact, on the Casemiro one, I'll just touch on that right now. Again, I think there is a big push from El Nassr simply because of Ronaldo. And more stories have come out again today on this regarding Ronaldo and Ronaldo wanting Casemiro and the ownership model, because everybody adores Cristiano Ronaldo and what he's brought to the Saudi Pro League. The ownership model and the people in power there want to give Ronaldo what he wants. Maybe if Casemiro stays, they could trigger Ronaldo to stay longer. If Casemiro's there, you know what I mean? It sounds crazy, but the amount of power that Ronaldo has got is going to be very, very influential in this move for Casemiro. It's all good for us. We don't care. As long as Casemiro's gone and we got some money to spend and we can bring in players that we want, then I think it benefits us. So that is where we're at with Casemiro. United need to sell to spend money. It's as simple as that. And there is a chance we're going to lose our targets because we haven't brought them in January. I think January is key for a couple of players for United. And if not, we could be up against it in the summer. We really could. Because let's be honest, we could win the Europa League. But say, for instance, one of the top 5, top 6 teams in the Premier League with European football next season goes in for Kirkes. It's probably going to go there. United really are trying to take advantage of the worst case scenario in the summer coming around. And I think that's why there's such a push right now and why there's so many stories. They're basically just dangling bait out all over the ocean and seeing which ones actually get bites on and then just going all in on that one, I feel. But I do believe, and I was told a while ago, and you all know when I was talking about it, before the window even opened, about 3 or 4 weeks before the window opened, I was being told Manchester United would be completely open to selling Garnacho if the bids come in. When Mainoo was talked about last night, everybody said they prefer selling Garnacho. It's all on him at the moment. He is the biggest value and biggest asset to United in this current transfer market right now. He would fetch the most. He would be 100% profit. He would guarantee United could meet valuations for players that they want and bring in players that Ruben Amorim is definitely going to use. So Garnacho, Casemiro, we need to keep an eye on these two over this window. Definitely Casemiro more than anything. I'm saying about 80% chance Casemiro's gone. Garnacho right now I think is a 50-50 going off the reports and everything where we're up to today, but it is it's an awkward one for United because they want to make moves. Ineos want to be seen to be doing the right thing, but unfortunately we are stuck behind the wall, and that wall is Manchester United don't have much value in their squad and they have no money left to spend. That is the situation we're actually in right now. I'm going to get to the chat quickly on this. Please get your likes in, everybody. Over 100 likes already. Make sure you have subscribed to Forever United TV if you haven't done already. Thank you, everybody. This is just your midday quickfire update show. I'm back at 1 o'clock as well after this show on Football Talk, so make sure you're there on that one as well. Let me just see what else we've got here in the chat. Kirkes supports United, says Danny B. I didn't know that. Welcome to the Members Club, Ryan. Thank that was gifted by Tom. Cheers, Tom. Hit the nail on the head with Bruno. That's why I would love to see Bruno go. The owners are not forward-thinking enough. They are forward-thinking, but they cannot get rid of Bruno right now. There isn't anyone else available for us to bring in for what he can do. So let's see if we can get more performances out of Bruno like we did against Liverpool the other day, and then maybe relook at everything when the window is officially open and we've got more money to spend and the options are wider. I think that's important to remember in all of this as well. Marcus Rashford, actually, we actually haven't got enough time. I want to just touch on that Rashford news. The Daily Mail, I'm just going to call this bullshit. I'm going to call it straight out. It's why I didn't go in with a story. Some other people might have led with Marcus Rashford being wanted by Spurs. That ain't happening. Not in a million years is Rashford going to Spurs. I'm not saying they can't afford him. I'm not saying that Ange wouldn't want him. I'm not saying that Spurs wouldn't want to buy Rashford on a permanent deal. But it is not going to happen. It's just one of them things. Like Manchester United have actually said they don't want to sell to a rival when it comes to Marcus Rashford. I don't think Marcus Rashford is going to help himself by going to Spurs, to be honest. I really don't. There's room for him, definitely. There is. And when you look at the football side of it alone, you could understand why he would want to. But he isn't really he's not really going to go to anywhere that's better. I mean, even if United's worst season, Spurs are right there next to us. So really, it's just from one to the other for him. And I don't see why he would go there. I think he needs to go abroad, personally. And the Daily Mail that we're running this story, it turns out that even like what The Athletic said, when you've got Dortmund, you've got the Italian clubs, and everybody else wanted Marcus Rashford, including Galatasaray originally as well. And there was mystery Premier League clubs as well. Well, the mystery club turns out to be Spurs. But let's be honest, no. There is no more updates on Naipan yet either, mate. No, Danny. Nothing yet that I've seen concrete. He is supposed to be doing a few tours around different training complexes for Premier League clubs over the coming weeks. I've not heard anything more than that. I think it's only because other things have taken preference in what's actually going on at the moment. So, Adam, why can't we do what Not Forest did? Spend the money now, improve the team, and then deal with the financial fair play sanctions later. Because United, can you imagine the onslaught for Manchester United for financial fair play? Everybody would be jumping all over this, and I think United understand this. I think United understand this with the situation. Like any sort of negative around United right now would be absolutely, it would be sent into overdrive in terms of the media scramble and everything that's going on right now. So no, I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. And I don't think United even want to be involved in that sort of, like media frenzy, which it will be. It really will. How many players will come during January is the poll. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8% of you think 4 players are going to come in January. That is extremely hopeful. It is. 2 players, 42%. 1 player, 39%. I'm in on the 1% there. The 1 with 38% of the vote on that one. I see 1 player coming in. I think United's eggs are firmly in the Mendes basket, and I don't see anything else from that point. I really don't. But, look, I'd never say never in the bleeding Premier League. Never say never with anything in terms of Manchester United and transfers, but I think I just say that willy-nilly now in just that pure hope of anything happening. But yeah, that pretty much is what I'm thinking anyway. But yeah, we'll see. Just in other news as well, it's not great news either. Just checking around all of the transfer situations. There are reports coming out as well this lunchtime that Real Madrid have opened informal talks with Ederson at Atalanta. No, don't. Oh, that would pain me if Ederson went there. What a waste. What a waste. This man needs to be going to a club where he is absolutely idolised and plays every single game. That's where Ederson needs to be, not at Real Madrid as another one of their pawns and just another midfielder in amongst all of the other players. But this is what Madrid do, and this is the problem, like I was saying at the top of the show, and I brought this story into the show today simply to show that even with the Mendes situation right now, and it looking like the player wants to come to Manchester United, still there is always a bigger club. There is always someone else out there that could make this deal disappear. It could just go the complete opposite way, and like United cannot afford to hang around. Honestly, we could see a Mendes, we could see an Ederson situation now with, like I said, Madrid coming in and start an opening talks with Atalanta. We could see this happening with Mendes in the summer if United don't get the deal done now. This is where United have a little bit of an advantage now, because they're trying to move things around to get a specific target, and to bring in a specific target in January, it's hard work. But we are going to have to do that just to actually beat off opposition from the summer transfer window, I feel. And unfortunately, all of the good targets, like we may have an advantage with Gyökeres going into the summer. We're hearing that Arsenal are in for Brian Mbeumo. We're hearing Arsenal could be in for Liverpool, could be in for Osimhen. Them stories are doing the rounds as well around transfer speculation. We'll talk a little bit more about that on Football Talks, but you get the gist of it. Ederson is a target for United. We know he is. Real Madrid coming in just throws a big spanner in the works and really scuppers Manchester United's chances, because they will offer him the world. United won't. There is guarantees with Real Madrid of winning trophies. There isn't at United, and he's at that stage now of his career where he needs to make, at the age mid-20s, where he needs to just commit one way or the other. What can Man United offer him? And there is a lot. Yeah, it's like Al Max says, City also want Ederson. All the big teams are going to be in for him. And this is what I feel like. I want Ederson. He's the best target. Zubimendi is obviously second option for a lot of teams as well right now, and he is being touted as to possibly going out on going up to different clubs across Europe. But realistically, right now, when you look at where United are at, what's going on with our finances, needing to get Mendes in, and the priority is left wing back, we could be missing out on so many more. But that's because of the mess that we're in. And then when you ask fans, it's like, would you sell certain players in this Manchester United squad to guarantee you get better players in the transfer window? People start to think then, and fans start to change their mind and go, well, actually, we do really need to actually just let go of certain players so we can get better players in. Can we take the risk of giving this player another year and then he just falls off a cliff and his form goes? I think this is where we're at with Garnacho right now. And it's like the conversation I said last night. Say, for instance, United brought Ederson in. We managed to get him. What does that do to Casemiro? Does that put him back on the bench? Is he worth 200 grand sat on the bench? Is that not the problem that we've got right now? I heard TalkSport talking about it actually before, and it's like, well, if you compare the other wages at Manchester United, that's where Casemiro agents are trying to push it from. Because you've got Mason Mount, who's sat doing nothing on 250 grand a week. You've got Anthony sat on 200 grand a week doing absolutely nothing. Casemiro's on 300 and odd. Marcus Rashford's not even in the matchday squad. He's on God knows how much more money than Casemiro. This is where agents are pushing, and this is the standard, and this is the sort of precedent that Manchester United have set, and the hole that they've dug themselves. This is a pure on hole that they've dug themselves, that Ineos are trying to dig Manchester United out. The Glazers got the excavator out and dug this grave, and Ineos have just put a ladder in at the moment, and in that ladder they're trying to build steps to make it easier to get everybody out of this hole. That's literally where we're at. The mess that was left for Ineos to try and fix. They're not going about it fully the right way, let's be honest, but we have to be honest, when it comes to transfer markets, when it comes to transfer windows, we are in a position where it is needs must, and we have to take chances. I think right now we do. If we know that Ruben Amorim is in on a player, we know that this player is perfect for a certain position, sacrifices have to be made elsewhere, and we have to just rebuild again. This is why like I said before, like many academy players may get a better chance now with United if we're moving players on. That may be how Manchester United can survive now. It may be the only way that Manchester United can survive going forward. So we will see how this develops. But honestly, when you look at Ederson, I think it's a prime example of what might happen with Mendes. If we don't get him in January, I don't think we're going to get him. That's what I feel. That's what I feel. Christopher said there's a rat in Old Trafford. What are we going to do? Nothing. We're going to sell out Old Trafford and buy all the merchandise. That's what we're going to do, and just moan about it and do nothing. Christopher, not sure where you're going with that one, mate. Graham says the Ederson deal became less likely as time passed. Too many clubs are impressed with him. The genie came out of that bottle long ago. Selling Mainu and Garnacho could get us 3 quality players in positions we need, says Joe. This is where the fans start thinking about different things. Be down tools performance on Sunday, 100%. No, Daryl, it won't be. It won't be. We're going to beat Arsenal on weekend. Confident we're going to beat them. Confident we're going to beat them. We don't have to extend Mainu because we got him on a long-term contract. Keep him on cheap wages. Look, he may just want to push elsewhere if he doesn't get a deal. But what I said with Mainu last night still stands for me. I feel like if you just let him play it out the rest of this season, then, obviously, we can come back to the negotiation table. Let's see how Kobbie Mainu performs from now until the end of the season. I think that's what we've got to look at. I think that's the important side in this, so let's just see. Let's be honest, Ineos knew the situation that we were in. I don't get this excuse of media people like you making excuses for them. If they are broke billionaires, we should have sold to Qatar. Are they broke? No, they're not. Facts hurt people's comments like that, Big Ed, and I'm not making an excuse for them. I've quite openly said what they're doing is wrong right now. But the one thing that I've said is factual, that the Glazers caused this, not Ineos. Ineos have put more money into Manchester United than the Glazers have in the last 2.5 decades. Facts. They're hard-hitting facts. Nobody likes what's going on right now, and we need someone to actually hit and just blame. And that is clearly Ineos, because they're the only ones. The Glazers knew this. And Ineos did know what they were getting into. They didn't know how poorly the culture was at Manchester United, because you're never going to know that until you're actually in the situation. But look at what's happening. If Ineos within 2 summer transfer windows have got rid of all of the deadwood that we've been bitching about for a decade, would you not say that they've done an alright job in the transfer window? Separate to what they're doing with the tickets, that's just ridiculous. But we just state what's in front of us and we say what we see. Facts hurt a lot of people, I'm afraid, and they are the hard-hitting ones when it comes to what Ineos have done so far. They've at least come in and tried to hit the problem head on. Oh my God, they've made some serious mistakes and they've gone about it the wrong way in certain departments, but there's a lot more going on at United in terms of moving things around than there was when the Glazers were in on their own. And I'll always remind people of that. It's not an excuse for what Ineos are doing. It's more of just a reminder that they have got this system in place that they're trying to implement to move things forward for United, and it's hit a brick wall because of the severity of how poorly this football club has been run. And that's the transfer situation summed up right there. It's not all them. It's not all them. Keep Rashford and Casemiro, sell all our talented youth, and they'll be back to spank our pert little bottoms. Why would we keep Rashford and Casemiro? I don't get that one, Chris. I'm sure you're going in on like why are we selling our best players and stuff like that in terms of the youth. But I mean, needs must, I'm afraid, and that honestly is where we're actually at. So yeah, I'm right now. I still feel comfortable, but I want to. I would love to just see United make a big significant move in January to know that Ineos really do want to back Ruben Amorim. Look, I'm going to wrap it up there because we need to get across to football talks. The show is starting in just a moment over there. We're talking Jose Mourinho. We're talking Lopetegui being sacked. There's a load more transfer stuff going on for other Premier League clubs as well. So we can continue the United conversation over there as well, everyone. So please make sure you click on the link in the live chat. Also, you will be redirected in a moment as well. So I will see you over there in just a moment's time. Thank you, everybody. Give the video a like on the way out. Make sure you have subscribed and subscribe to Football Talks. I'll see you there in just a moment.